All right, we're heading to this small, pretty unassuming island right off the coast of Nova Scotia. But I want you to forget everything you think you know about treasure maps and ghost stories. We're not doing that today. Instead, we're here as investigators, and we're going to dissect one of history's most brilliant and, frankly, deadly pieces of engineering. It's a machine that has been actively fighting back and winning for over 2 centuries. So let's open the case file.
You know, every good investigation has to start with the case file, right? And for this one, it all begins with local folklore. For generations, people in the villages nearby have passed down this really ominous warning about Oak Island. And believe me, this warning, it sets the stage for everything that comes next.
You know, this is the kind of story you tell your kids to keep them from wandering off. It starts with this simple, chilling command. It paints a picture of a place that is just fundamentally wrong, a place you should avoid, no matter what. But it's the why that really gets under your skin. And there it is. That's the unsettling punchline to the whole legend. Not that the island is haunted by ghosts, but that the island itself is an active, living thing. And this little piece of folklore, as we're about to see, turned out to be terrifyingly close to the actual truth. Okay, so let's move away from the legend and get into the first pieces of hard evidence. Our investigation really kicks off in the year 1795, with a discovery that would start a 200-year-long obsession.
So picture this. A young guy named Daniel McGinnis is wandering around and finds this perfectly circular depression in the ground. It just looks weird. So he and his friends start digging. And right away, they realize this is not natural. Every 10 feet down, they hit a solid platform of oak logs. It's a clear sign that someone deliberately built this shaft. And then, when they get 90 feet down, they unearth their first major clue, a stone slab covered in these bizarre cryptic symbols.
Now, the exact translation is still up for debate, but this is the message that lit the fuse. All of a sudden, this whole thing wasn't just about solving some weird puzzle anymore. No, this was about treasure. And that one idea completely shifted the motivation here, from simple curiosity to a full-blown, obsessive hunt for riches.
And this is where our whole investigation pivots. Because the very moment those diggers tried to push past that 90-foot mark, they stopped being explorers. They became the first victims of a highly sophisticated, centuries-old security system. So to really understand what they were up against, we have to be specific about what this thing is. They had stumbled into a booby trap, a mechanism designed with one and only one purpose, to protect whatever was at the bottom by any means necessary. And honestly, it is a work of absolute genius. Later investigators eventually mapped out this whole network of hidden flood tunnels. They were angled perfectly from the ocean right to the money pit. And we're not just talking about simple ditches here, no. These things were lined with complex debris filters made of rock and coconut fiber to stop them from clogging up over the centuries. But the trigger is the key. It's pressure activated. The second the excavators remove that final layer of dirt and clay, they relieve the pressure that's holding back the ocean, and the entire shaft instantly, violently, floods with seawater. It is a self-resetting, permanent defense. Okay, as an investigator, this slide right here is what keeps me up at night. This is the central anomaly of the whole case. Think about it. In the 1700s, when this trap was supposedly built, what did large-scale water management look like? It was manual pumps, simple drainage ditches. The Oak Island trap, with its self-flooding tunnels, its pressure-activated trigger, its advanced filtration, it's on a completely different planet. It's like finding a microchip in a Roman ruin. It just doesn't fit, which begs the big question. Who on Earth had this kind of knowledge, probably from military or naval engineering, to build something so far beyond the known tech of their day? I mean, a project of this scale requires a creator with unbelievable brilliance, a ton of funding, and extreme secrecy. So that leads us to our list of primary suspects, the potential masterminds behind this whole thing.
So 3 main theories have kind of bubbled to the surface over the years. First up, the infamous pirate Captain Kidd. He definitely would have had the engineering know-how from his time at sea to pull this off. Second, the Knights Templar. They were a super wealthy, super secretive order, and rumor has it they needed to hide their massive treasure after they fled persecution in Europe. Or maybe it's some unknown group bearing something so valuable or so incredibly dangerous that it required a permanent lethal guardian to keep the world away.
So, after more than 220 years, countless expeditions, and literally millions of dollars, where does this case stand today? Let's review the current status.
6. That's the number.
6 people have officially lost their lives trying to solve this mystery. This isn't just some historical puzzle you read about in a book. The trap is very, very real, and it is proven to be deadly.
And of course, with that many deaths, a dark legend was bound to spring up. There's a prophecy that says a 7th person has to die before the island will finally give up its secret. It adds this chilling, almost supernatural layer to what is, at its core, a fascinating engineering problem.
And what an incredible problem it is. I mean, we've thrown everything we have at it. Modern ground-penetrating radar, huge industrial drills, advanced sonar, you name it, it's been on that island. And every single time, the original 18th century design outsmarts it. The tunnels flood, the ground collapses, and the mystery just stays out of reach.
So this brings us to the ultimate question, doesn't it? What if there is no treasure? What if the pit itself is the point? A monumental, brilliant, deadly trap, built for the sole purpose of luring in and punishing the greedy, like some eternal monument to human avarice.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought. Knowing the engineering, knowing the history, knowing the human cost. If you were standing on the edge of that pit, and you had all the tools and the team to give it a shot, would you dare to dig?